Bai Xiaochun has only one goal in his mind, to gain immortality and never die. And on this journey of attaining eternal life, Bai has earned a few friends who appreciate his loyalty and bravery in battle. Part of the Lingxi clan, one of Bai's biggest achievements is bringing down the Chen clan and revealing their hypocrisy. However, this came at the cost of his own life, or so everybody thinks. Bai awakens from a pleasant dream about how he is being welcomed back in the Lingxi sect, only to realize that he is trapped in a cave. He can barely accept that he is still alive and tells himself that this area is probably the afterlife, and is shocked when an elderly person shows up as well. Thinking that the person might want to harm him, Bai tries to escape, but an invisible barrier on the entrance of the cave makes this impossible. This mysterious old man reveals no detail of his identity, but informs Bai that some part of him is immortal, which is why he narrowly escaped death after the dangerous fight against Chen. He hands Bai a pill that would help him regain his spiritual strength and then takes his leave, saying he would return after a few days. Even after all his exertions, Bai can only think about Du Ling and if she managed to survive. He swallows the pill, which allows him to escape through the barrier, where the old man is waiting for him. He appreciates Bai's strength and informs him that all his companions have safely returned to their sects. He then hands Bai a scroll titled Immortality Volume 2 and disappears into thin air. Meanwhile, Du Ling has taken up a senior position in Donglin City, but can barely keep her mind off her friend Bai, who she still believes is alive. Her belief pays off when she meets him in the streets of the city and the two have a joyful reunion. However, this is short-lived as Bai wakes up the next morning with no sign of Du Ling anywhere. Bai then returns to the Lingxi sect, where he is somewhat of a legend. All the sect's members are overjoyed at the appearance of their hero and every one of them wishes to meet him. However, Bai is first summoned before the sect leader, Feng. The senior appreciates him for his bravery and skill in taking down the Chen clan, and is obviously pleased that our protagonist has returned to the sect and would aid them in its protection. However, Bai is not fulfilled by words of appreciation since he had dreamed of legendary gifts being presented to him for his valor. Just as it seems that this would remain a dream, the sect leader brings out a crane gold shield and golden crow sword, which are both heroic artifacts that would aid him in war. The rest of Bai's days are spent catching up on the events he missed while he was gone. Moreover, being referred to with his new title of master fills him with pride. He meets with all his old friends and enjoys exploring the sect. On one such outing, he overhears one of his old nemesis, Xiao Fei, mumbling to himself over how he is tired of the special treatment that Bai is receiving. Bai confronts him and there still seems to be a bit of rivalry between them. Despite Bai's senior position, Xiao Fei summons his master, who duels with Bai, and surprisingly the master comes out on top. Bai does not take this disrespect lightly. There seems to be mutiny brewing in the Lingxi clan as a few of the members have begun to conspire against Bai. According to them, everything is going to plan and soon enough he will be defeated. One of Bai's friends overhears them and rushes out of the house in a panic as she tries to understand what is going on. Meanwhile, Bai refuses to accept defeat to Xiao Fei's master and begins to prepare for their next fight by trying to purchase Jujai pills, which are known as foundation building pills and would make him stronger. These are high-tier pills and even the pharmacist he goes to demands a high amount of money for the order. Bai goes as far as to offer multiple items in exchange, but it still does not cover the cost. The shopkeeper suggests that Bai should make his own pills, even if they are of a lower tier, and sell them at an upcoming auction. Our protagonist goes through this hard work of 3 months and presents his work at the auction. Among the other legendary items there, the pills seem mediocre and nobody seems to be purchasing them. However, one of them has a special turtle emblem on it that catches everyone's eye and Bai's friend buys it for 100,000 spirit tokens. However, when our protagonist reveals that he is the maker of it, nobody believes him, much to his disappointment. Another surprise is waiting for Bai outside the auction house, with a crowd of women expecting him to marry their daughters and give them royal children. Obviously, he is still a young warrior and is not ready to be committed, but his head is turned over when he is offered chests of treasure and valuable materials for pill refining. Just as he is about to accept a proposal, a messenger from the sect head arrives and announces that Bai is still underage and needs time to work on his skills. As a result, he would not get married until after 100 years, much to our protagonist's dismay. Meanwhile, he still has not given up on his dream of making the Jujai pills. Having bought the ingredients, he begins the process of refining it, but to no avail. Lacking the skills needed to make such a high-tier pill, he keeps facing failure over and over again. He uses different animals as his test subjects, including a rabbit and a monkey, but the result is far from positive, with the rabbit dying, and the monkey facing stomach issues. Our protagonist still refuses to give up and uses some of his own techniques to refine the pills. This blows up in his face as acid rain starts to pour on the city, and to make matters worse, the animals that he tested miraculously come back to life, but with strange abilities. The citizens unleash their wrath upon Bai and would have done away with him, if not for the involvement of his uncle Lai. Bai's uncle Lai is quite firm with his nephew, and his disappointment is evident as he lectures him about his irresponsibility. As punishment, Bai has to carry a heavy piece of furniture on his back while listening to his uncle's scolding. Eventually, he apologizes and assures his uncle that it would not happen again. Seeing that his nephew is truly regretful of his actions, he hands him a scroll that would help him to refine pills much more effectively. Going through it, Bai understands that the technique is referred to as the Dragon Elephant's Ocean of Change, and that it would require intense meditation. After months of training his mind, the young warrior finally manages to make a breakthrough and comes face to face with the elephant, and then dragon image. However, the technique becomes too dangerous as Bai's hands become shackled, and once again it is his uncle Lai who rescues him. Out of the spirit realm, Bai is straightaway entered into the Tianjiao qualification competition, where he has to compete against other students and face multiple challenges while trying to reach the finish line. It almost seems that he has lost when he gets stuck over a den of snakes. However, surprisingly, his malfunctioning pills seem to work out here as they turn the reptiles into other animals, and the king snake then helps him to reach the finish line before the other challengers. Much to the sect leader and his accomplices' surprise, it is Bai who crosses through the portal first and presents himself before them. The other competitors pass the finish line after him and are enraged that such a reckless young boy was able to defeat them. Even Bai seems surprised when he is announced in first place. The top 10 participants of this challenge are given the honor of representing the south side in their battle against the north side. Our protagonist, who is scared of death, does not like the sound of such a dangerous clash and tries to escape. However, his uncle Lai prevents him from doing so. Wanting to know how menacing the fighters from the south side were, he decides to sneak into their territory and watch them. However, this is proved impossible as he is instantly spotted and barely escapes. Bai then decides to stalk one of the fighters who he had been told is quite skilled. He observes her while she is bathing in the river, but unfortunately, he is once again identified and the girl tails him while he runs for his life. Things go from bad to worse for our unlucky protagonist as his golden crow sword runs out of energy while he is flying on it, and he falls into a deep valley. The area is filled with molten hot lava, and while trying to avoid it, he awakens a dragon there. The legendary creature has the intentions of devouring Bai, but when he tries one of his pills, he seems to enjoy them and demands the warrior to make him a bigger one. Bai is only too happy to comply and does so, which the dragon swiftly takes in. Energy courses through the creature's body as it flies out of the valley, with our protagonist holding onto its scales. The battle between the north and south side starts with arguments between the two sides. Each of them are sure that they will emerge victorious and wish to demotivate their rival. The first battle between the two sides reveals the victor to be Shangyuan Tianyu, a swordsman from the north. However, the south are not to be underestimated as their main player. Gui Yi is a user of the ghost energy and is much feared among the fighters. His battle seems to be evenly balanced until Gui Yi unleashes a forbidden technique that would have annihilated his opponent, if not for the interference of one of the seniors. Bai's fight is against the trainer of a huge nocturnal beast, and he seems to be struggling. However, his magic pills seem to come in handy once again as he feeds them to the animal that turns it against its master. Most of the crowd consider this to be cheating, and even the head of the south side is about to unleash his wrath upon Bai until his uncle Lai comes to his support. The elders from the south are enraged at this trickery by our protagonist, and he is summoned to the hall along with the sect leaders. They attempt to find out the method of making Bai's pills, since it seems to be able to control animals, but he refuses to give out any details. Uncle Lai comes by his nephew's side and demands that the South give a secret technique known as river water field in exchange. The rest of the seniors are taken aback, but their leader agrees after slight hesitation. The river water field is an old art that nobody has been able to perform and is considered among the top 10 techniques. Bai takes his time in learning it with the dragon, and once it has been perfected, all the animals in the area suddenly disappear. To everybody's shock, Bai then makes his appearance on the day of his match and faces off against another animal user. However, when his southern opponent attempts to summon his insects, it bears no fruit, and with a grin, Bai does the same and the creatures immediately appear and take away the fighter. The entire crowd is left speechless at this show of skill, particularly the elders, who are surprised that the warrior had managed to learn the technique in such a short time span. The end. For now.